Yep. Okay. Yes, so welcome everyone. In Melbourne, we usually start with an acknowledgement of country, so I'll do that today. I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the unceded land on which I work, learn, and live. We all work, learn, and live. And for me, it's the Wurundjeri, Woiwurrung, and Bunurong peoples of the Kulin Nation. And so the university and I also acknowledge and I am grateful for the traditional owners, elders, and knowledge holders of all Indigenous nations and clans who have been instrumental in our reconciliation journey. And we recognize the unique place held by Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people as the original owners and custodians of the lands and waterways across the Australian continent. And we also acknowledge their enduring cultural practices of caring for country. And we pay respect to elders past, present, and future, and acknowledge the importance of Indigenous knowledge in the academy. And as a community of researchers, teachers, professional staff, and students, we are privileged to work and learn every day with Indigenous colleagues and partners. And yes, so welcome. So I'm Durley. I'm the project leader for the VREF WALK Transitions project. And a lot of you are part of the team, and some are allies and contributors to the project. So for everyone, welcome for our fourth COLP session. So COLP is Community of Learning and Practice. And I would like to acknowledge that this particular COLP session number 4 is collaboration with several organizations. I won't be able to name everyone, but the main group that we're leading this would be Women in the Move. So thank you, Ufi, Pat, and the rest of Women in the Move, and also Women in Transport Leadership. And of course, it's always good to collaborate on projects. And so we welcome also visitors who are joining us for the first time. And we hope that this will be informative for all of you. And if there are opportunities for us to collaborate at present or in the future, please contact us. So I've mentioned them earlier, right? I'm from the University of Melbourne, and our collaborators are from all over Southeast Asia mainly. Okay, so without further ado, just to give a background, so we organized this COLP based on a Jane's Walk, the concept of Jane's Walk, right? So Jane's Walk is is drawn from Jane Jacobs, and I think some of you, if not all, are familiar with Jane Jacobs. And so she's one of, I think, a writer, activist who has been really critical about the highway that was to be built across her neighborhood in New York back in the 50s, 60s. And so she put in an as an activist, she fought for it not to be built, and she won against the then mayor Moses. I know, Philip, you know more about this background, so please correct me if I am wrong. Okay, and so we had, I think, more than 10 participants, or at least 10 cities and communities who organized their local walks in their own city. And in doing that, we encouraged each of those cities or organizations to come up with a theme that aligns with the idea of walking. And I think the main point of that activity, so it was kind of, we used the word, we used the phrase, we move as an organizing concept for all of us. But the idea is, how do we encourage more people to walk? And we know that physical inactivity is really high and is increasing. And we will probably hear from a lot of you how, some or more people in the group that went with you were actually not walking a lot. So it would be interesting to hear how they thought about this activity. So yeah, so what we will do is we'll be giving each team who led the walk 5 minutes to present their perspectives, insights of the walk. And I think it would be good to it's up to you if you want to share a presentation. But yeah, it would be good if we can keep to the time. And so probably what I'll do is I'll just maybe talk, say, let's just remind you that, you have a minute to go, if that's okay with everyone. Yeah, great. Okay, so we can now start. Not to put anyone on the spot. So I'll just go through. I'm not sure how we ordered this presentation. Yeah, we can probably start with Davao. We move Davao, Chinatown, Historic Food Crawl, Jane Jacobs Walk.
Hi, everyone.
Can everyone hear me? Can everyone hear me? Yes.
There's
Okay.
a background
May
sound. I'm not sure. There's.
Sorry, I'm in a public place.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, can you share?
How about this? Is this better?
Yeah.
Is this
Yeah.
better?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll share my screen now. So can everyone see this slide?
Yeah, we can see that.
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. I am Mark Seng from Davao City in the Philippines. We organized our Jane's Walk last May 7. We held it. And we wanted to highlight a historic area in Davao City, namely Davao Chinatown. So the way we tried to attract people was to make it into a history and food crawl. So there is a component of food and a guide who gave us historical tidbits about the walk. So we started, as you can see here on the picture on the top right, that is the midpoint of our walk. Because Davao Chinatown has four of those arches, which is usually a symbolizing feature of Chinatowns in some parts of the world. So we also have those. We have four of those. And if you can notice on the left side that we also have, there's also fruit stands near that place. So we took we had some fruit there, namely durian and mangosteen. So those are the fruits that Davao are known for. Only some of the fruits. So one of our participants is also an urban sketcher. So he did that sketch of the arch on that picture there after the walk. So the interesting thing about our walk is the participants. So we had several from the local government unit, or at least working for the local government unit. And we also had a co-founder of Women in Transport Leadership. If you know her, she's the lady from the second lady from the left. Uh, what's her name? Danielle Gillen.
Yeah, Danielle. Yeah.
Danielle Gillen. Yes. So she was participating, and of course, we have some residents and business owners from Davao Chinatown. We also had students, and we also had let's see. One actually flew in from the capital, Manila. She actually flew in just to attend the walk. So we were surprised because we did open up slots to the public, so around 5 slots to the public. So anyone who saw the ad on Facebook could just join. So the next, and then we had some, mostly our Davao residents. We had a few architects as well. So we, on the top left, that's our meeting point. So we met at a restaurant in Davao famous restaurant, which is connected with, I believe, the Jollibee owners. And we started there. And then we moved down along that Magsaysay Avenue. And our guide, Jose Martin Castrillo, pointed out sites of interest. And we also got to see the Sunday afternoon crowd, which is it's a mostly commercial area, and there are lots of sidewalk vendors in that part of Chinatown as well. So you can see the place we have there. It's a mixture of brutalist architecture, as I learned, and also newer buildings. And it's some of us realize that Chinatown is pretty walkable since most of the old buildings are arcaded, so the sidewalks are sheltered from the rain and sun. If you can see on the lower left and right side, those are the arcades. And those are initiatives by the business owners. So they purposefully did that, and other buildings followed suit for, of course, pedestrians and shoppers' convenience. We stopped at a coffee place. This is a relatively new coffee shop in Chinatown. Um, and but then on the right, we were enjoying the durian and the mangosteen there. And on the lower left is a
Mark,
graffiti wall.
one more minute. One more
Okay.
minute. Yeah. Thank you.
Graffiti wall there. And we finally ended our walk because we managed to get access to an old house, as you can see on the lower right. That is the Sokin Pong house, which I believe is around 50 years old. I think it's a wooden house at the last stop of our Chinatown, and we were able to get inside and have a feel for the past of Davao. So that ends my presentation. As for intersectionality, I think we mentioned that before, that we did a walk with kids. So that one, we had to do this as all adults. It was more manageable because we wanted to also cover a lot of ground. So, but of course, we had everyone who joined were able, and they were able to finish the walk as well. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thanks, Mark. Yeah, so what we'll do, we'll just go on with the presentations, and then later on we'll open it up to question and answer. So thank you. Yeah, so well done with your group. And we now move on to Baguio, Baguio, Philippines. So Philip, would you want to, not sure if you're there. Oh, yeah.
I'm here. Sorry. Yeah, I'm fiddling with my phone. Baguio or Ortigas?
So yeah. So I'm just looking at the list that Sherry shared with me. Yeah, so maybe we can move into Ortigas. Sorry, Pasig City.
Yeah, Baguio was the test, and it went pretty well. But Ortigas was what we held in synchrony with the rest of the people in this team. Yeah, Ortigas, we had about 19 participants, which I was quite happy with, because it was not a food walk, it was not a heritage tour. Like, really, it was about Jane Jacobs's ideas, and we were going to use Ortigas as a demonstration. And Var said something funny, right? When we walked through Baguio, we were all praises because Baguio demonstrates a lot of what Jane Jacobs thinks works for downtowns, and Ortigas demonstrates a lot of what she criticizes. So we were not kind to Ortigas, a business district in Manila. So 19 people came. The weather was okay. It was not as hot as we thought it would be. And I think what they found most interesting was a demonstration of why Jane Jacobs thinks that short blocks are so important. And when you read that in her work, it's difficult to imagine how crucial that is until you actually see it. And there's a street very close to where my university is, Pearl Drive in Ortigas, that is separated from Pearl Drive. Pearl Drive is very lively: 40 restaurants, 6 hotels, a university, many offices and residential towers. But the street parallel to it, which is San Miguel Avenue, is completely dead, even if the street is just 50 meters away. And the reason is because there are no connections between Pearl Drive and San Miguel Avenue. The block that separates the both of them is just too long. And you really see it, because once you cross into San Miguel Avenue, there's nothing there but banks, all banks. And Jane Jacobs had quite a few things to say about banks. Now, banks are like candy to landlords because they're safe. I mean, they come with security, they've got a lot of money, they're not going to skip in their rent, but they totally kill street life, because by 3 p.m. they're closed. They're closed on weekends, and come on, like, you only go to a bank when you really need to. And that was demonstrated very clearly in the walk that we conducted. So I think it was successful. I mean, my voice failed me halfway through. So when we got to the cafe to talk about intersectionality, I had to sit away from the group in order to give myself a rest. So it was Vars who conducted the conversation about intersectionality. I hope he's here to tell us about that. Yeah, but like this made me realize that there is an appetite for walks that are centered on urban theory, like Jane Jacobs. Yeah, so I told them, I'll go buy the book and you can do this yourself. It went pretty well. By the way, I don't know April Valia, but I think she's here. But when I mentioned these Jane Jacobs walks, my friend Mikey Ramos, who was with us, mentioned April Valia, so he says hello. I think she's from Davao, the Davao team.
Thanks, Philip.
Okay, that's that. Yeah. You know,
Regards.
Mikey.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. There's always, you know, good connection. Thank you. Thank you very much for that, Philip. And not sure if Vars is around. Is Vars around? No, so I think he was saying that he will be coming from another an activity from his work. So once once he comes, maybe we can revert back to the Ortigas experience, walk experience. Okay, thank you. Yeah, so now we move on to Ho Chi Minh City. Ho-ai, do you want to share your experience in Ho Chi Minh City?
Okay, so I will share my screen. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, we can definitely see it.
Okay, so our work last week because we had a small team is ISCM walk. ISCM stands for Institute of Smart City and Management, because ISCM hosts this walk, and also ISCM staff also join into this walk. And our objective, the objective of this walk is we want to gain a better understanding about advantages and obstacles the pedestrian have to face when they walk along the roads in their research areas. And based on their opinion, maybe in the future we will have some solutions or suggestions to get a better to build pedestrian friendly streets for them in Ho Chi Minh City or in research areas. And yeah, the walk happened on Saturday on May 6th, and along 2 hours when we start until when we off. And you can find here the route map. Actually, we go along around six streets, and it took us around 2 hours, and I think it's from 2 to 3 kilometers long. So the activity we did in our ISCM walk is that first of all we gather all of the participants in ISCM office, and that's also the starting point. We introduced about ISCM walk, introduce about our objective, because we want the participants not get they have to be very clear about the objective of this walk. We don't just walk for fun, we walk for other objective, and they need to know about the objective. And in our walk we let them know in advance. During the walk we will discuss some questions, or we will ask them some questions, and that they feel free to share with us. And then you can find here the participants. There are around 24 participants join us. And so we divided into male, female. Actually, we also have LGBT join us, around 2 LGBT join us. And they are confident to share with us they are in the group of LGBT. Yeah. And also 3 disabled people join us. They are the blind, because we have connection with some people from the high school for the disabled people, the blind, and 1 teacher and 2 students join with us. And you can see here the children also join with us and the old people also. And other participants are high school students, and the rest one is ASEAN staff. Because more than 20 participants join us, so only me cannot handle all of them, cannot talk with all of them. So we divide it into small groups, and each group we have the group lead. Group we consider like the group leader, and they are ASEAN staff. They know what we should to ask the participant, what we should to discuss with them, and then it's easier for us to manage the group when we walk, because we have the blind, we have the old people, we have the children. Maybe we start at the same time, but we come back not the same time because the speed is different. So during the walk, we will record, because we don't have time to take note or write it down, so we record it, and all participants know it in advance, and they are comfortable for it. You can see here some pictures we take during the walk here, and that's about the participant. What did we discuss with the participants? We asked them some questions when they walk, and finally we grouped it into I grouped it here 3, but I think it can be 4 groups. The first thing is about room to walk, because most of the participants let us know that they don't have enough room to walk on the street. You can see some picture we take here, for example. A lot of sidewalk in Ho Chi Minh City where the research areas happen is occupied by the parking for motorcycle. Some segment is under construction, so the pedestrian have to walk into the street like this one. Or you can see some segment. How can I see? The electrical box is occupies the sidewalk also, and even at the zebra crossing, they have no room to step down.
Hi, one more minute.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so that's the first segment. But some rules, the pedestrian also feel comfortable to work. You can see because of the payment is good, everything is okay. And the second part is we group them into the pleasant for working, because the pedestrian let us know that okay, the weather is really hot for them to walk. They cannot walk all of the routes, even along the route they don't have there's no bench or any stop for them to take a rest or do something. And you know, the mix of traffic in Ho Chi Minh City is also prevent them from walking, the feeling of safety. So that's also the third section, the third part. When we group the answer of the participant, they don't feel really safe to work because of the maintenance of the pavement is not really good. They don't have enough space, and the sidewalk is occupied by the vendor, the other activity, or even you can see here some barriers for motorcycle also placed here, and it's difficult for the blind to work, and even the other people. So actually, one more part I really want to mention is that the connectivity, because when we go along the route, we pass by many shops, many restaurants, banks, and offices. And I asked the participants, are they feel comfortable to work to this place or the other place? They let us know that first of all they need space to work. The second thing is the pleasant to work, and then they feel safety. If three reverse thing is okay, the connectivity is not a problem. So that's the answer, and that's what I want to present to you. Thank you for your listening.
Thank you very much, Ho-ai. That was good. Yeah, so now we move on to the next one. Very diverse group. I think Mark mentioned that you had a very diverse group. Wonderful. Okay, so we move on to Manila, Philippines. Who will be presenting?
I will share.
Okay.
Okay. Dylan. Okay, so for Manila, I was with Pat and Doc Sandy. So the theme of our walk is a heritage walk as well. And interestingly, Davao Mark also showed this like Chinatown arch, and it's also found in Manila because we have a Chinatown over there. So that was the theme. And then um luckily we were helped by Renacimiento Manila in hosting the walk. So it's a local group that's really promoting the preservation of the heritage and the culture and promoting the stories in the old Manila. So they also have that expertise in handling groups and conducting walk tours. So because of that, we were able to accommodate a bigger group of people. So we were accommodating 60 participants last weekend. We set the limit to 40, but there were just really a lot of signups, and then the turnout group was 60. And then the participants, 2 out of 3 were female, and the age range was 18 to 53 years old, and on average, it was 30 years old. And before the walk, we also asked the participants what their perceived walkability of the area is. And then we also asked them afterwards. So we got to compare. But the result was on average, like for both pre and post walk. So there was really not much difference. Well, some people found it more walkable at the start and then less walkable after. And then there are some who found it the other way around. But in general and on average, it was average there. And then since we were handling a big group, a group of 60 participants, how we facilitated the discussions was through this survey sheet. So we distributed sheets that they would be able to fill out. And we also kept the questions open-ended. So we just asked, what are you enjoying most about the walk and why? And then what's making the walk difficult for you and why? And I think this allowed them to be able to jot down what's actually at the top of their minds. And so we were able to capture like what matters to them at that particular moment, like what factors or what components of walkability are mattering to them at that specific moment in time without like introducing ideas. Yep. So some results. Okay, so some barriers that we got are the usual, so sidewalks and walkways. And then interestingly, a lot complained about the smells from for example, the garbage and the river, and then the cleanliness in general. And then a couple of people were also saying that it was really hot. So it's currently really hot in the Philippines. So that was also a recurring statement. And then the motorized vehicles, and then lack of resting areas, elevation changes. And then for the facilitators, interestingly, these are some of what they've put down. So first is the visual details. So some people were saying, like, these are things that I don't really see when I'm in a car, like these little details. And then the company also, some people pointed this out, that it was nice being able to walk with the group and with other participants and being able to organize, to interact with the organizers, etc. And then also there were statements on local activities. So some said that it was nice just to see people hang out and eat in the area. So yeah, there. And then there were also some notes on gender and identity. So in terms of gender, there were also recurring statements on being female and how walking alone if you're a female is a huge barrier. So like for example, this as a female, I would think twice walking these areas solo, especially at night. And some of these statements also came from male participants. There. And then
Cherry,
also,
one more minute.
okay. Then some also pointed out that the walk would be difficult for children, PWDs, and people with respiratory health issues. Yeah, because in the survey sheet, we also asked them like, how do you think would the walk be different if it was male versus female or children versus middle aged versus elderly, etc. Okay, so from here, our first insight is the importance of capturing the non-infrastructure factors by really going on ground and actually walking, because especially for the facilitators, these are things that we won't really be able to capture if we go on Google Street View or if we deploy camera drones. Like, these are individual personal pedestrian experiences that only humans can experience and that we can only like record if we really go out there. Like, for example, also the pollution and cleanliness, like feeling that heat and smelling those foul smells there. And then the second is insight is the importance of having activities like Jane's Walk as an avenue to document and articulate these lived pedestrian experiences. Because I think we go through these usual everyday places and we experience all these things, but these things stay at the back of our heads and we don't really get to, you know, document them and communicate them. So activities like the Jane's Walk are a good avenue to document and to hear thoughts of people while walking. Yes. So as a final note, I just want to share this. One participant said, I was amazed how each place is just walking distance. Napakalapit, meaning it's so near. Unlike when you're riding a car. I love this experience. So thank you for gathering us. Okay, so that's it for the Manila group.
Oh,
Thank
that's
you.
yeah, that's very heartening to to get those
I
feedback.
know. I think I teared up when I read that.
I know, yeah, that's good. So it's always
Okay.
good to to I guess give provide option like this kind of experiences to people, because they don't realize the value of it until they actually experience it, right? Okay, thanks, Cherry. And now we move to Jakarta, Indonesia.
Give me a sec, I'll share my screen.
Yep.
I don't think I could like give it a full screen, but yeah, I'll start. So yeah, hi everyone. My name is Sophie, and yeah, we held the walk in Jakarta on Saturday last week with the theme, with the title "We Move Forward to Jakarta." So I was assisted by COP4, an organization with a movement that aims to fight for the rights of pedestrians in Indonesia. So we start at 10 a.m. in Bogor City and finish at 2 p.m. in Jakarta. So the purpose of the walk is to raise awareness of the environment and how it relates to pedestrian friendly and user of public transport. So participants are encouraged to walk and take public transport to explore two different cities, Bogor and Jakarta. So actually the total of the route itself is 58 kilometers, but we walk around 3 kilometers in total because we use two different modes. And so yeah, we choose to go through several areas that recently, around 3 to 4 years ago, underwent design or function change. So we shared the story behind it to see how participants react and thoughts. So for example, you can see in the middle of this, the photo in the middle. So for example, there's a tunnel connecting the KRL station, bus stop, and MRT station, was converted from a road for vehicles to a pedestrian-only area. So this is the before and then after. And after that, so there were 14 people, including one leader with 8 women and 6 men. And participants had an age range between 23 to 50 years old, with 64% being participants in their 20s. And so the activity will, while on the train, we asked them to fill the online survey to know their walking habit in their neighborhood, and we encourage participants to voice their views at each stop. And also we printed some campaign materials such as flyer about Jane's Walk and Jane's Ticket poster with her quotes and for photos background when they're taking photos like this. And then the inside itself, the participants actually apparently they identify themselves as someone who are used to walking as part of the combined modes of transport they use. So this type of activity is not something new for them. Some of them say that they walk to their office because it's close distance and also close to the bus stop. And like worship place and traditional market or convenience stores were top two places for their walking activity most of the time. And actually, there are several reasons why they joined the walk. So we highlight the three reasons that come up often. So they like to engage in activities with urban and environmental themes, and they like the interaction of sharing space. They like to see the interaction of sharing space in every area, and also they believe that there is much that can be explored when walking. Like they could find the old building and like hidden park and etc. And that they might could not see if they are using vehicle. So on the factors that encourage walking and discourage walking, so accessibility is a factor that both encourage and dissuades people from choosing to walk. So like inadequate or poor access, such as the absence of safe and comfortable sidewalks due to barriers like the conversion of function to private vehicle parking, discourage people from passing through these areas. On the other hand, adequate and simple access can encourage people to be more active on foot. And we also discussed about the walking experience, where we agreed that everyone's walking experience will be different because the needs of each person are different also. Like example, the women feel more safer when walking during the night if they have enough lights around them. And there's a general thoughts after the walking. So after observing the change that have taken place in the areas that are paced by to become more pedestrian friendly, we believe that removing the barriers will encourage and attract people to use public places more freely. And that's it from Jakarta.
Okay,
Yes,
thank you.
that's it from Jakarta.
Just on time. Very good. Thank you very
Yeah.
much, Ulfi. And it's interesting how, the difference in walking experience. So you've mentioned that most of the people who participate are really walkers already, right? So it would be interesting to understand how do we encourage those who actually don't walk and then, to walk. Okay, so thank you for that. We now move on to Bandung. So who would like to start,
Okay,
Tessa or Widi?
I think me. Let me share. Is it? Can you see my screen? Oh, no.
Yeah.
Sorry. Can you see my screen now?
Yeah, I could see
Okay.
it.
Yeah. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. So I will report our walk in Bandung. So the initiation is to introduce a walking habit to students, since most of students at my university, ITB, doesn't walk. So we opened the form to join the James Walk on Saturday. There are 18 participants, and we closed it. But the participants who walk actually is only 15. As it mentioned earlier, the initiative is for students. Then the age is between 22 to 28 years old, and only 2 are from public participants. And we also have we ask that normally they don't walk. This is don't walk, the purple. And why not walking? Because the infrastructure is inconvenient and sometimes they bring too many things. So our journey is something like this, that
Widi, I think
can
you
share
unshared.
with
Okay, yeah.
you.
We couldn't hear any sound. Is that?
Can you hear the sound? No?
No. So
this
you
is
need
the
to
walk.
unshare. Okay, yeah.
Can you see the movie now?
Yeah, we can see the movie.
Okay, then I will explain. So this is the street actually that normally they pass by, because in one part we do have a nice pedestrian way, and then after that we move to a small alley to introduce that some on the back side of the big street there will be always an alley that we can walk or make a shortcut. And then afterwards we also walk through the housing area, which is quite interesting because it is for the lecturer of ITB, and it has a different type of housing which actually is walkable as well. So this is from the alley. Maybe I can make it faster. Wait a moment. Sorry. Oops, sorry. Sorry. And this is the area of housing that they pass by. And this area actually has a nice way because it has a path for walking. And this is for the lecture of ITB, and they do have a garage separated from their houses. So there will be there are buildings for the garage. And afterwards, we stop by at the cafe to discuss what we did so far, and then we come back to the backside of the campus, which it's interesting because some of students never walked through this passage before, and this is actually the campus. And it is also interesting that at that time there was an event that is from the unit of Sumatra Utara. They dance so people also can enjoy. So I think this is what we did so far. It's only another 20 seconds. So when I asked why they don't want to walk, most of them said that the infrastructure is not nice, and also they would like to walk with friends. The interesting part is if some studies said that when you walk slowly and you can see everything. My students cannot, because when I asked how many chairs did you find on Jalan Dago, which is actually 29, they said only 10. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that, Widdy. So the performance earlier, was that something that was happening already, and you just went and kind of participated in it?
Yeah, actually, I published it in the social media, and some of my students joined, and we also find, I think 3 or 4 students are not mine. They also joined, and
okay, that's
from
good.
public. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, but there was a performance in the middle of ITB.
Yeah.
So your students performed. So you're
No.
okay. You were watching.
Yeah,
You
we
had
are
to perform.
watching.
Okay. Yeah. Wonderful. Okay. Thank you very much for that, Widdy. And we move on to Yeah, Mark mentioned here, too bad we can't hear the sound. So we move to Surakarta.
Okay. Thank you. I will present my.
Oh, sorry, is Tessa presenting in Bandung as well?
Sorry?
Sorry, just wanted to double check. Is Tessa presenting for Bandung?
No.
Oh, no, okay.
No.
No, I will be presenting for the other campus in
So
Bandung,
Patricia,
Parahan Catholic
oh,
University. Yes.
They
Oh.
participate. Yeah. They
Okay,
participate.
okay. Yeah, so maybe after, I'm sorry, I forgot to do that. So let's have Surakarta
it's
first, and
okay.
then Tessa, I just try. So Patricia, then we can have you afterwards. Is that okay?
Yeah,
Yes.
sure. Absolutely. You can do that.
Okay, no worries. Thank you. So now
You're
we
welcome.
we go to Surakarta.
Yeah. Thank you, Darlie. Nice to meet you, everyone. My name is Sukma Larastiti, but you can call me Lala. So I and my friends, so Transportology, held the Gen Walks with Jolly Jolan and also Pedestrian Jogja. So this is our route. You can see the map. We start from Ruang Solidaritas Jolly Jolan. We walk to the bus stop in Halte Korem. So we ride the bus. We called it here is Batik Solo Trans to Halte Ngapeman Utara. It's around 3 kilometers, and then have walk from there to the finish point in Ngarsopuro area. So the purpose of this walk is to explore the existing sidewalk and new constructed sidewalk. So in Surakarta, we have a new sidewalk created by the Ministry of Public Works last year. It's around the south, the small walk here, and then the in front of it. So we would like to ask the participant to explore and feel the different quality and different development priority of sidewalks in Surakarta. We have the walk in at 7 May from 9 a.m. to 13 p.m. And you could see here the photos for our activities. So our chats walk have like 34 participants with 3 children and 31 adults with 24 women and 10 men. So you can see the children playing with a new play that he bought on the road, and the left side you could see we walk in a very quiet road. There are so many closed stores and closed office because because of the one-way road. They have like lacking activities there, and all of the participants, most of them is riding private vehicles to there, and 16 participants never ride the bus. So I think it's kind of a new experience for them to ride the Batik Solo Trans, and 5 participants is never walk in the city. They say that they are lazy, and they think that why should I walk? And then they know this pamphlet, and they try to walk in this session. So we could see that there is also different qualities of sidewalk. We can see in the middle of it, we call it like a slow lane. It's not a bike lane, but it used for vehicle that pass through the road in a very slow speed. And then we also like have a small sidewalk, but it used for parking, so everyone walking on the road. And then we also have like a small survey using like a tool here. We have printed several and ask the participants to assess the road, the comfortability, the safety, the security, and we also asking them, would they like to walk on the sidewalks when it's night? And then this is the area. We can see that the sidewalk is used for parking. On the left side, it's we have very much motorcycle there, because when we had the walk in last week, there is also a craft market happening there. And the right side, you could see that we have a very bad sidewalk, and everyone say that they don't like it. So the key insight from our work is that there are different qualities of sidewalks, and it makes the participant feel uncomfortable to walk there. Most the participant prefer to walk in a busy street without proper sidewalks than otherwise. We could see when they walk in the quiet sidewalk, they feel uneasy, especially the female participant. Though there is no catcalling, there is nothing happening there, but they feel uneasy. And then there is also safety concerns, because one of our participants get crashed by motorcycle on the sidewalk, and she's a little bit confused. She asked us, is it our right to use the sidewalks, or the vehicle can also legally access the sidewalk? So she is very afraid to tell the rider that he should be careful on the sidewalk. So she just let him go. And from the survey, we also get like current pedestrian crossing is unsafe, though there is a crossing marking there, because the traffic signal do not give enough time for the pedestrian to cross. So we should like run and walking in more fast paced to go to other side. And the last thing is everyone tell us that they would like to walk, though they experience like more barrier when they need to walk to their office. Below is one of the quote from the participant. She said that the street have good qualities, but there is hole in them. The facility for disabled has yet to be maximized. We found it in the new constructed sidewalk. The blind tactile is not uniform, so it could be go there and there, so it's not it's difficult to use. And she said that the sidewalk is not inclusive for people with disability, though it may be okay for able people. I think that is from us from Surakarta. Darli, thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Sukma, for that presentation. And yes, so we move back to Bandung again. And if we can call on Patricia, thank you very much.
Hi, thank you very much for allowing me to present. Thank you very much, Cherry, for helping me sharing my material. I'm not around my laptop right now, unfortunately, so yeah, this will do.
Yeah.
Our walk in Parahyangan Catholic University was conducted on Monday, so it fits the schedule of the student or participant, but we walked in a small group, which was around 6 people, 4 women and 2 men. Next, Cherry, please. Our objective originally was to raise awareness regarding our campus surrounding conditions and to observe and discuss the status quo of the pedestrian conditions, to explore the local public comfort spaces as cafes or restaurants or public attractions, and to socialize how walking is an alternative transport mode to private vehicles, which is used within majority of our students here in the campus. Next, Cherry. This is our promotion poster. It's a bit simple, but we did our best. Next. Now, the event itself took around 20 minutes in walking and 100 minutes in discussion. So we focused more on the discussion itself, and it was hosted by our professor, Professor Tribasuki Juwono, which you were all in contact with. And this photo right here is the example of our walking conditions. It was right in front of our campus. So as you can see, the major problem here is that the pedestrian is not wide enough for people to walk around freely or securely. So that was one of our major obstacles. Next, Cherry. Now, the route itself was surrounding our campus, but it was around, we walked to the northern area of our campus. So the weather was actually nice, and the route itself was inclined instead of declining. So that was also one of the obstacles for the decreasing numbers of people walking around our campus area. It was around 2 kilometers, and yeah, we walked around 20 minutes. Next, Cherry. Now, based on our walk, we found out that what made people are encouraged to walk was that the ability to explore their surrounding areas was much better, and they could explore them more freely with their own pace instead of driving their own vehicles or like hailing object or taxi. And several cafes or restaurants around the area do not actually offer a wide parking spot or a big entrance enough for their private vehicles. So walking could actually increase the advantage over there. Next. Now, anonymously, what discouraged people from walking is that the current conditions of the pedestrian facilities around our campus is not that great. It was actually quite poor and concerning. There were several problems found during our walk, such as distinct differences in levels of pedestrians. So even for us able-bodied participants, it was quite difficult to step onto the pedestrian level as the height difference between the pedestrian and the main road itself was around 40 centimeters or 45. That was quite concerning. And right beside the pedestrian, or the little space between the road and the side of the road, was this open sewage. So it was also concerning and quite dangerous for people to walk there at night, especially. Next, please. Now, one of the concern is that how inclusive is the pedestrian, especially for women. Now, we found out that there were definitely rooms for improvements for the design and pedestrian facilities, and the difference in the appearance of pedestrian facilities around our road is too concerning to be walked on. For example, is this, as earlier I was talking about how the difference itself is concerning. So this was one of our participants, a lady right here, trying to get onto the pedestrian to walk safely. And that was quite a bit high for her and for us as well. And thirdly is that the absence of proper lighting around the area, around the pedestrian area, is discourage our ladies and also gentlemen participants to walk after sunset because it's quite dark, and walking around in the darkness is not the best approach to walk alone, especially. Next, Cherry. And as our very first event here, Jacob Walks, we found out that walking tours actually is one of the reasons why our participants joined our event. They would like to enjoy the walking, they would like to enjoy the vibes. One of our participants was actually new to the city itself and found out about our event through Twitter platform and signed up. And we were quite surprised because we did not expect such a large coverage for our walking, and it was great actually. And some of our participants itself was also intrigued to express their interest in leisure and habitual walking as well. And some of our participants turned out to enjoy walking more to if they are walking with friends, similar to the situation there in Bandung Technological Institute or ITB. We have similar findings there. So yeah, in terms of the advice or the comments from our participants, one of the major comments is that they would like to participate in an event like this again, which we are positively considering about it. Our professor, the host itself, is actually considering creating another campaign like this in his classroom, for example. So yeah, looking forward to another event of ours. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Patricia. I think that's really good, a very positive reflection and probably a call to action, right? So,
Yes.
just thinking about organizing another walk, I think that would be great. Okay, so we'll have the I think last but not the least, may I invite Bangkok?
Yeah, sure. Okay. Let me share the screen. Okay. So for Bangkok, so we have 13 participants to join our walk, and so here is our walking route. So we try to connect between 2 metro stations. So so this is a walking district walking friendly district in Bangkok. So the inspiration to choose this area is the Bangkok government. They recently promote the food street. So there is a lot of investment for the food shop and the restaurant to locate in this food street. So we try to check out on this brand new food street by before the walk. So I give a brief introduction of the street and also the objective of what we're going to see along the way. So firstly is we're going to check out the walking infrastructure. So to check out, is it good enough for walk? Is it walking friendly environment? And another one is because of the food street promotion. So we try to see the impact from the city logistics, like food delivery, and we want to see the impact from those logistic activities to the walking environment on this street. So before walk, so I brief them to these 2 objectives, and then we go for the walk. And so here is our meeting point in front of the metro station. So half of the participant is my student in my master student, and another half is are they friend and colleague who interest to join us on this walk as well. And firstly, I set up the time at lunch, so we can have a lunch together after the walk. But I need to change to 5 p.m. because of the heat. So because of the day we pick the walk is has very, very hot. So its temperature go up to 40 degrees Celsius. So I need to change to 5 p.m. So to avoid that heat and to make it easier to walk, because we need to walk like 2 kilometers in total. So it's better to change. So, and we go along the this is the picture that I give a brief introduction on our walk, and then we start the walk, and we found that there is no connection on the walking facilities between the nearest metro station to those three. And this is our first stop that after the crosswalk. So we found that they have a problem on the crosswalk. That was very unclear crosswalk. So the line is blurred. There are no any signage there, and people, the driver who crossed this to pass through the walk has no respect to the pedestrian. So and we discuss on this topic and also the infrastructure around as well. And then we go into the private property owned by one university in Bangkok, and which is they develop their property and they have their very good walking environment. So we go inside and compare between the government infrastructure and the private property infrastructure. So and they have another discussion on this walking facility design. And here is the new Bangkok food street. So we found out that they have a good thing and bad thing. So we summarize the bad thing. The bad point is there's a lot of obstacle along the footpath. For example, the thing from the shop that they try to put it in front of the shop and is obstruct the pedestrian, and also the poor quality of the sidewalk and the cleanliness need to be improved as well. And another thing is, even though they have a shade from the shop along the street, which is can prevent the heat, but there is a water drop along the way. It's come from the air conditioner compressor, which is make a water drop and is make an unpleasant walk, like very obvious unpleasant walk on the district as well. And also
James, one more minute.
Yeah, sure. And so, and another thing, like we found out, even though this street very attractive because they have a lot of famous shop and it's go viral, a lot of tourists, but the connectivities from this street to the nearest metro station are the problem, very big problem. So so we think, we conclude that if government try to promote more on this street as a tourist destination and the walking paradise, so they have a lot to improve. And another thing that we got from the walk is the city logistic impact to the walking environment. Yes, we can see it obviously because the food delivery activities occur along the street, and then the driver, the rider, there has no parking for them, so they need to park at the sidewalk and in front of the shop to waiting for the order. So this is the major problem from our walk. Yeah. So after the walk, we took about 40 minutes, and then we went to park and take another 1 hour to discuss about this, and then we finished by having dinner together. Yeah. So that's the conclusion of the walk.
Thank you very much, James. So let's give everyone a big hand of applause. Well done. And yeah, so we have about 10 minutes of question and answer. So please feel free to ask questions. Anyone who would be interested to ask a question. I think we're a small group, so please feel free to just open your open your video, your audio, and then ask a question. Yes, April.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. Congratulations, everyone, for what looks like a really successful global event for our group. So my question is, and I'm sure that everyone has also received the same feedback. A lot of the attendees were really happy about the event. They're very interested about our purpose, our advocacies. So they're actually asking us like, what's the next event? So I'm wondering if any of you already have anything planned so that we can ride on the momentum of, so much interest in, what we do, and then perhaps we could organize another collaboration in the future, because I feel like because it's a global event, I think that also is what made it really successful and very interesting for people to be a part of. So yeah, if anyone has any ideas already, please do share.
Yes, excellent question, April. Yeah, so I think Bandung, anyone else who would like to kind of pitch in some ideas that you're already crafting as a way forward?
Okay, can I
Yes, Weedy, go
suggest
for it.
something? Okay,
Yeah.
so the James Walk in Bandung try to make a habit to walk for students, and these initiatives I think it's also followed by UNPAR. UNPAR has the same idea, and I saw also from Bangkok. From Bangkok, James has also tried to introduce students to walk, and how it's the comparison walking outside the university and inside the university. So my idea is perhaps we, as most of us as a lecturer, perhaps can initiate per month introducing to students a walking habit. For example, according to the theory, normally if there is a university, so nearby north, south, west, east will be residential for students, cheap residential for students. Then we can start, for example, collecting students from the north, and then we walk together, and then to the west, to the south, to the east, and then we can also, by this these initiatives, perhaps we can also suggest to the university to rebuild or revitalize the pedestrian way, or as well to the government, for example, because this can reduce students to use their private vehicles, for example, to make a more friendly environment. Thank you. Perhaps we can start in every city. Thank you, dearly.
Yes, thank you very much, Weedy, and an excellent idea. Anyone else who would like to pitch in some ideas? So I think it's great, Weedy, and a great initiative if we can start, from our own place, our own influence, which is, for most of us, universities and our students. I think that would be great. Yeah, next step. Mark, go for it.
Hi everyone, congratulations on your books. I just have a question for, and anyone can answer, because here in Davao City, although we're a relatively small city, we don't have much connecting modes of transportation for the public. Although we do have GPs, but they're planned to be phased out. And it seems that there is much to be done in terms of connecting farther places because in the university, like Ms. Whitney said, we already have the so-called market for pedestrians in the nearby surroundings, but most of us, to be honest, traveled from a different part of the city by car to go to Chinatown. So there's still a difficulty of connectivity between places where you cannot readily walk towards. So my question is, has anyone of you engaged with your local government, or at least the local government, to let them be aware of maybe the needs of the community or the pedestrians in that area, and it's so good to share how you were able to engage with them. Although we did try to invite during our walk, so but I would also like to hear from the rest. Thank you.
Please feel free to answer. Oh, yeah, James, go for it.
Yeah, so I will share with the Bangkok government. We have the application that you can report the broken infrastructure, and what we do is when we see that broken infrastructure, for example, the walking facility, so we take a photo, put in the app, put the location, and then my request will go directly to the civil department, which is we can follow up the process that how when they're going to fix it, or what the quality of the fixing. So we send them picture and tell the problem, and then after fixing they will send back the picture to me, and actually to the application, so everyone can inspect that. So that is the one of the good thing we implement in Bangkok from last year, and they have many places that could improve quite significantly, but still many places still have a very poor fixing condition as well. Yeah, that one experience from Bangkok.
Thank
I
you.
just want to add, I think
Yes, Ovi.
seems like in Bangkok, we also have in Jakarta. In Jakarta, we also have the hotline and also like a Twitter account for people to report like the infrastructure. Like, is it it's not convenient or something like that? You could report into that, but honestly, it will be faster if you post it in social media, because it's for now it's faster with social media because it's more viral, and then the governments suddenly retweet or comment on your Twitter account and social media account rather than you report it through the hotline. So that's from Jakarta.
Yeah, good point. It's a bit sad, right? Because when it creates some kind of negative reaction, then government are so quick to act and do something. But when you're actually reporting it through the proper channels, then it sometimes get lost somehow and not really addressed. Any other ideas on what April mentioned earlier? I think, I mean, it could be like we can do this like, on a yearly basis. Maybe we can, gather again in a virtual setup like this, and then, organize and then, implement, and then we'll have a short chat. I mean, that could be one thing that we can do, like car-free Sunday, right? Like, it's once, or what was that? Like parking day in September as well. So I think it would be good to have to have this gathering, because I think a lot of Jane's Walk activity, it's really localized, their own thing. But if we can do that own thing, but also share our experiences, I think I think it's more purposeful and insightful, learning from each other. Other ideas and questions? And by the way, I really like what ISCM did. You actually gathered very different people and very diverse people, and it would really be interesting how diverse were their experience. Doing like an interview of their experience, just reflecting on it, because I think it would we would be able to gather very different insights. Oh, I think was there a I think campaign days like that would be good and easy to until the next year's Jane's Walk. Yeah, definitely. And of course, so and I just wanted to let everyone know. So this is an organized event between Women in the Move and Women in Transport Leadership and the Walking for Transport project. But that doesn't limit us to do these activities on our own or with collaborate with each other. So we do have for the VREF project, we do have a community of learning and practice monthly. So from next month, we will be gathering virtually and learn from the examples, walking transitions case studies from different cities. So next month, for instance, we will be listening, we will be hearing from our colleagues in Vietnam, here in Australia, and Sherry, what was the, so that's the two, Thailand. Yeah. And then, so this will happen in the next 3 months. So June, July, August, and we'll be hearing from the different countries. And so I would really love if you could join us on those 1 hour event, because I think, we've built the momentum. And I think now what we really need to do is to just sustain the fire, right? So how can we do that? I think, yeah, that would be a great idea. And then we might think about culminating it, the monthly session, and then find another activity for September, October, November, and then maybe run another Jane's Walk next year. Not maybe, we will run another Jane's Walk next year. So yeah, please share with me the invitation. Yes, Ulfi, we will definitely share with you. Yes, so at this point, was there any other questions from the group or comments and feedback before we draw our meeting to a close? Let's have a photo.
Yeah.
So may I invite everyone to open your cameras just for a photo op, if that's okay. So let's just wait for everyone else to open their cameras. Please feel free if you're happy to do that, and just for the photo.
Sorry, everyone, I'm still outside. Sorry.
No problem. You, Sukma. Yeah. Definitely go for it. Yeah. Harold, are you able to open your camera? I know, Pat, you're driving. So yeah, if you can, it would be great, but if not, no problems as well.
No, I'm just walking, sorry.
Okay. So I think we can work with this. Yep. So 1, 2, 3, smile. Another one. Yep. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. And yeah, so there is one information that Cherry posted. So if you know of good, promising practices in walkability transitions, we would really want to hear about those practices. And because we want to bring them together into a compendium of practices. Yes, and I think Ulfi has another announcement. Yes, Ulfi, go for it.
Yes, thank you guys, everyone, for participating in the Jane's Walk. And yeah, so as you guys may know, Road Safety Week is coming up from May 15th to 21st. And we, Women in the Move, want to launch a campaign focused on this year's theme, rethinking mobility in our community. So we are inviting you, everyone, to participate by sharing before and after photos of a certain road in their area that has undergone a change, whether it's positive or negative, like whether it's a new bike lane or suddenly there's no bike lane anymore. So by highlighting this example, we want to know your perspective and your experience about that, and you can share it to your social media and also LinkedIn. We'll post it. We could tag us on social media and also our LinkedIn. I'll put it on the chat. So yes, that's it from the Woman in the Move.
Thank you very much, Ulfi. Yes, so if you could share the link where we can post the photo, yeah, that would be great. Okay, so without further ado, let's give each other, a big hand of applause, and thank you very much for, engaging in this activity, and have a good Friday. And yeah, hope to engage with you again in the next few days, weeks, etc. And I will be in contact in terms of the the support that we will be providing from our earlier activity. Okay, bye everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And
Bye.
Can I be
everyone.
CC'd
Thank
from
you,
now
everyone.
on for the
Thank
project
you.
itself?
Bye
Because I think
bye.
I missed the announcement.
Oh, you wanted to make an announcement, Pat? I
No,
couldn't
no, no,
hear.
no, no. I would like to be CC'd from now on
Oh.
for the announcements moving forward, because I think it will be a good reminder.
Yeah, yes, of course. Yeah,
Okay.
so
Thank you very much.
yes, thanks,
Bye.
Patricia. Bye, everyone.
Everyone, thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, patapos ko lang. Salamat, Cherry. We'll see each other on Monday, no?
Yeah. I was thinking, gusto mo ba mag-set ako meeting with the first, like, the June team?
Teka, i-off ko muna yung... Okay.
Recording.
Yes, how do we do that? Oh my, this is amazing. I actually don't know. Live on Facebook, no. Share screen. Stop recording.